It was a big day when Columbus and his crew, after many days on the sea, encountered the Americas in 1492, continents which were virtually unknown in the rest of the world and were outside of the old world's political and economic system. It was a discovery that would lead to new opportunities for Europe, but the combination of new available lands, while the European countries were fighting for power and wealth, turned out to be one of the most devastating periods in human history. The European colonization of the Americas fundamentally changed the lives and cultures of the resident indigenous people whose population were diminished drastically. Before the colonization of America, the Native Americans were living in peace, fighting each other's tribes once in a while for territory. They were traditionally living as hunter-gatherers, and especially in the Amazon basin, many groups practiced aquaculture and agriculture. Although some societies depended heavily on agriculture, others practiced a mix of farming, hunting, and gathering. In some regions, the indigenous people created monumental architecture, kingdoms, and empires. Among these were the Aztec, Inca, and Maya states, that until the 16th century were among the most politically and socially advanced nations in the world. They had a vast knowledge of engineering, architecture, astronomy, medicine, painting, and much more. They surpassed Europeans in multiple ways. The Aztec Empire was the biggest empire located in today's Mexico, and their capital, Tenochtitlan, was populated with up to 400,000 inhabitants and had enormous temples and pyramids. It is estimated that Tenochtitlan was one of the biggest cities in the world, along with Paris and Constantinople. The Aztecs meant it was in the city of Tenochtitlan the gods had created the sun and moon. Unfortunately, the Spaniards under their leader Hernán Cortés destroyed and slaughtered the entire city in 1521. Besides the conquest of the city, the Spaniards brought something unexpected with them, and that was several diseases like smallpox and the flu, which were unknown for the indigenous people's immune system. And within 3 centuries, 80 to 90% of all indigenous people had died due to the untreatable disease. The time after Christopher Columbus' discovery of the Americans, the European countries in search of wealth and power went and colonized the continents of America. The Spaniards and Portuguese people were the first to colonize, and they went to South America and achieved big success with wealth and endless goods for their countries. France quickly heard about the success and started making plans which resulted in France colonizing big parts of North America in 1524. The Kingdom of England was lacking on the development of navigation skills, and therefore it first followed Spain and France in 1607, and here they colonized the northeast and settled their settlement Jacksontown. With time, the European powers colonized more and more land, and the indigenous people had their territory forcibly decreased day by day. In 1636, the Piquet tribe was living close to the English colonizers in the east of America. Both parts deeply wanted to control the fur trade, and with time their relationship got more and more tense. When a group of Piquet warriors was accused of killing an English settler, the Piquet War broke out, one of the most savage wars in history, also known as the Mystic Massacre. Stories tell that hundreds of women and children were murdered while they were sleeping, and hundreds more were killed only within an hour, where half of them were burned to death. The following month, Englishmen pursued the fleeing Piquet communities, executing the leaders and enslaving the women and children. The massacre of the Piquet tribe demonstrated how far the colonizers would go to gain power and control of their lands. Many uproars and rebellions followed after this incident, but they had no chance against the armed Europeans who had black powder guns and cannons, steel armor and swords, which made them hard to take down with the weapon the natives were used to fighting them. Besides the warfare, the illnesses from Europe wiped out the tribes. The flu could paralyze an entire tribe, and smallpox was their worst enemy, leading entirely tribes to death. The warfare and the illnesses brought along with the colonization killed between 80 to 90% of all Native Americans, leading to the genocide of indigenous people